Her mother was surprised. "Meso, you're home early. Did something happen?" her mother asked. "I sold all the bread, Mama. Every loaf," Meso said with a smile. Her mother was amazed. "All the bread? How did you do that?" Meso didn't know how to explain the bread that appeared in her shop, so she said, "It's God's blessing, Mama." That night, the strange dreams returned. The snake appeared in her sleep again, whispering, "Your wealth is growing, Meso. But remember, everything has a price." The next day, Meso's shop was full of customers again. People from all over the village came, eager to buy her bread. It was so soft and delicious that no other bread could compare. But after eating the bread, some people complained about stomach pain. They thought it was a small problem at first, but the pain didn't go away. Even though people were getting stomach aches from Meso's bread, they kept buying it. The bread tasted too good to stop, and no one thought Meso was the cause. They kept coming back despite the pain. Madame Stella, on the other hand, no one wanted her bread anymore, and after a while, she packed up her stall and left the market. Meso felt a bit satisfied seeing Madame Stella go, knowing she was now the most successful seller in the village. With the money she was making, Meso built a beautiful house for her and her mother. But her mother grew worried about Meso's sudden wealth. "Meso, how are you making so much money so quickly?" she asked. "Where is all this success coming from?" "It's hard work, Mama," Meso would say, even though she knew something wasn't right. Then one morning Meso noticed her belly was swollen. At first, she thought it was just bloating, but her stomach kept getting bigger. Her mother became worried and took her to the hospital, but the doctor said she wasn't pregnant. "If she's not pregnant, what's wrong with her?" her mother asked, scared and confused. Days went by, and Meso's stomach kept growing. She felt weak, and sometimes, it seemed like something was moving inside her belly. Meso was terrified. Every day, her belly grew larger, and she couldn't understand why. Desperate for a solution, she visited an herbalist who gave her a bundle of herbs with detailed instructions. Despite taking the herbs for a week, her belly continued to swell. Rumors spread quickly through the village. People stared and whispered, "What's happening to her?" Even though her bakery was still busy, the pain and constant stares became unbearable. Meso decided to close her shop, hoping to find a solution. She visited several hospitals, but the doctors either said she was fine or gave her ineffective treatments. One night, overwhelmed with fear and frustration, she sat alone, tears streaming down her face. "Why is this happening to me? I should be celebrating my success, not trapped in this nightmare." Exhausted, she cried herself to sleep. The next morning, her mother called her into her room. "Meso," her mother said gently, "the doctor said you're not pregnant, but your stomach is still growing. Is there something you're not telling me?" Meso, feeling overwhelmed, snapped, "Mama, I just need rest." She locked herself in her room, leaving her mother deeply concerned. Months passed, and the situation only worsened. The gossip turned cruel. What people initially thought was a pregnancy now seemed like a curse. "She's cursed," they whispered. "There must be something evil about her." Children would point and stare, and some even avoided walking past her house. One night, as Meso lay in bed, she fell into a restless dream. In this dream, the beautiful woman who had previously helped her appeared for the first time. Her eyes were cold and her voice sent shivers down Meso's spine. "Why are you so worried, Meso?" she asked. "You wanted success, and you got it. The prize was sleeping with the serpent." Meso was stunned. "What are you talking about? I didn't agree to this." The woman's smile grew wider. "You did. By accepting my help, you made a deal with the serpent. It now lives inside you and is growing stronger each day. Meso's scream echoed through the dream, but the woman's laughter faded into the darkness. The next morning, Meso woke up drenched in sweat, feeling something moving inside her swollen belly. Terrified, she saw a small snake with glowing green eyes on the floor. It didn't attack but stared at her with an eerie intensity. In her mind, she heard the woman's voice again, "The serpent is part of you now. You can't escape it." After a few minutes, the snake coiled near her bed suddenly vanished, leaving Meso even more terrified and shocked. Filled with regret, Meso decided to return to the Olomba serpent's place to seek more answers. She ventured into a lonely, deserted area where the path stood unpredictable. After hours of searching, she found out that the house was no longer where it had been before. Confused and frightened, she left the area feeling disappointed and more scared for her life. Back home, her mother, who had been anxiously searching for her, was relieved but deeply worried. Meso, overwhelmed by fear and confusion, refused to explain her strange behavior, adding to her mother's distress. Meso's condition worsened. She could do nothing but lie in bed growing weaker each passing day. She began losing weight, constantly battling pain and overthinking her situation. Her mother, heartbroken, watched over her, often crying and pleading with God to have mercy on her only child. One day, out of desperation, Meso's mother visited her close friend and shared what Meso had been going through. Her friend sympathized and suggested visiting a renowned native doctor known for strange or spiritual problems. Feeling hopeful, she returned home and discussed it with Meso that evening. Meso, however, pleaded with her mother not to go, insisting that she would recover. Deep down, she feared that the native doctor might uncover her dark secret, and she couldn't bear how her mother would react if she found out. Despite Meso's protest, her mother was determined. "I must go," she said firmly. "Your health is getting worse, and I can't just sit and watch." That night, Meso had a terrifying dream. The beautiful woman appeared before her again, but this time, she looked furious, her face twisted with anger. "Meso," the woman hissed, "if you don't want to end your own life, you must stop your mother from visiting that native doctor. Warn her, or you will face the consequences. When the time is right, you shall deliver the snake. Your destiny is now in our hands." The woman disappeared. Meso woke up in a cold sweat, terrified. She rushed to her mother's room at dawn, desperate to stop her, but to her dismay her mother had already left.